Welcome back to another episode of Who Got the Aux. I hope you enjoyed the previous episode where I discussed simple techniques on how to grow your page. If there's something that piques your interest, feel free to head on after to get that info after this episode or before you start. So I said that because on camera, I'm reading the script that I wrote. So that's why I said, bear with me, give me a couple episodes and I'll be delivering it, looking straight at the camera. But you guys are seeing the growing pains of growing a page or growing a podcast. So feel free to head on over. I'll put the link in the video description or wherever where you can check out that episode if that's something that piques your interest. On this episode, we're going to discuss whether to build or leave when it comes to relationships. Not only relationships that you're intimate, not only your intimate relationships, but friendships. Because when do you decide whether this is something worth building or if this is something you should leave? So this isn't a how-to guide because all relationships are different. All aspects, all people, all everything. There's no one way to know. But I feel like there are some things that you can spot and notice that can push you in the direction of building or leaving. And that's what I want to provide for you today. So the first thing I have people are stuck between building with someone and not wasting their time and leaving. How can you be sure when to make the decision, right? Is the friendship one-sided? Let's get straight to it, right? No matter how hectic life can be, people can make time for what they want to make time for. I know we get that all the time. And I'm on the other end of that. People feel like I should make more time for them. And I have a lot of things to do. But what they don't understand is that I do make time for people who I feel like deserves my time. So if you're not getting it, then you're not getting it. But if you're in a friendship, we're going to start on the friendship level. I'm not saying y'all have to talk every day. Y'all have to text every day. You have to text every month. And see, this is the issue that I was saying with the people with me. We don't have to speak all the time, right? But just subtle things like a happy birthday text or just seeing how you doing, just thought of you. That could be a month gap in between 2 months. Maybe they say a comment on a picture just to show that, hey, my life is hectic, but I thought about you and I wanted to reach out and let you know that, eventually when life settles and we get our goals, because, at the end of the day, people are running their own race. So you can't fault for somebody who wants to put their head down and be selfish with their time and with their resources and finally achieve something that they want and take it personal. You just got to understand that, wow, this person has gotten to this point in their life where they've taken things a little bit seriously. So you give them that space, but if it's reciprocated with them reaching out and talking back, that's fine. I'm talking on a minimum standpoint, just the reach out. A lot of people, we ain't had lunch and you doing this and you doing that. And those people, you got to watch out for those people. They become very possessive and they start telling you how you should spend your time and who you should spend your time with. You don't want to be around those people, friendships or relationships. But on a bare minimum, if they can't meet you halfway or reach out, just a text, a hello, a happy birthday, a Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving. If they can't do that, it's just dead silence and you're the only one that's like, this friendship exists because you initiate things, or this relationship exists because you're doing things and it's you. And as soon as you stop, it's quiet. As soon as you stop, it's not reciprocated. Even if they notice like, dang, they ain't reached out to me in a while. Nothing comes from that. That's probably something you might not be able to build with. Now, understand everything takes a conversation, right? So obviously, I'm not saying notice these things and cut it off, but notice these things, assess that it's an issue for you, have a conversation. And if that person doesn't feel like, they should abide by what you're saying or meet you halfway, then your answer is kind of already there, right? So I definitely encourage having, healthy, productive conversations before making decisions whether to build or leave. But I think that's one thing that you can look at is it one-sided? And one-sided on the minimum needs, not one-sided on, what everybody else doing. I'm just saying they can't even hit you on a minimum hello, I've been busy, but just saying if they can't do that, then, maybe that's not something you should build with. And I'm not saying those people are wrong either. Again, like I say, people have their own race and they're going to make decisions for their peace. And sometimes that may shield people out, that may lower communication. It's not your job to internalize it. I'm just saying from a build or leave standpoint, if you require those things that they now don't feel like they have to give, you probably won't be able to build there. That's all. No one's right or wrong. It's just understanding where people are to make rational decisions. When it comes to a relationship standpoint, so someone you're intimate with, they never come into your world. You're always, I gotta stop saying, you're always compromising for them, right? Like they like something, you'll go with it just for peace and happiness and to be with this person. You might not even care about it. You might not even leave liking it. It was just like, this was as dumb as I thought it was, but my partner enjoys it. So therefore I'm going to be there with them, support them and enjoy it. You do that. But then when it's your turn and it's time to do something you like, it's like, do that on your own. I don't want to do it. You don't like that. And it's like, fair. You can have your preference and you can have, what you like, where you like to spend your time. But, one of the things in building a relationship and being in a long-term relationship is eventually you want to go into each other's worlds, right? Because one, you can learn things. Two, you can, start liking things. Or three, you can confirm what you thought. But at least you can say, I did it. And that's why. It's nothing worse than someone just disliking things wholeheartedly and never experienced it, never been there, never tasted it, never heard it, never anything. I don't like it. It's like, all right, now you're just being, you're being one-sided in a sense, right? So never compromising and what you want to the back for that happiness, but it's never reciprocated. And if you do something on your own, you're doing it alone. If you go 100% on what you like, you got to do it on your own because that person's not supporting, that person's not compromising. But then on the flip side, they expect you to be there to support them in their stuff, right? That's a one-sided relationship. And let's see, but just completely ignore the other person. So I've been writing this stuff down because I find myself getting lost in my thoughts, especially on these specific things. Like when I'm just doing podcasts, I can ramble and whatever, but I want to be very precise on the information I'm giving because I feel like this can actually help some people. You're doing it alone, no compromises. One thing. Oh, and so that's what I was looking for. So, it's one thing to have your own activities, right? I joke all the time about my wife and I, like, we rarely have things in common for the most part, right? It's a show or two we like to watch together and we like to do concerts and travel. But we found that from building that, we like to travel. We like to go to concerts. We like to do events and walk around. And so we do have a lot in common, but on the surface, when you just meet somebody and it's just like the type of shows you like, the type of food you like, the type of the videos you laugh at versus the videos I laugh at, those things are polar opposites, right? And that's okay. I'm not saying that you're in a relationship or situation where we have to march to the same beat, like we have to like the same stuff. That to me, if you find a person like that, that's great. But I feel like there's a higher level of interest when you're meeting someone that's the complete opposite of you. Now, of course, there's extremes to that. You don't want somebody that's just completely opposite of you. But like in the sense of we're the same, we like generally the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to our particulars, this person is a very individual person. What they like, they read stuff I never read. They like movies I never watched. They eat food I never ate. And I do the same to them. So that's actually an opportunity to build and grow with somebody. Because like, let me try this book or let me try this food or this movie. And and that's how you actually could build and grow. So there's actually potential in having differences. So I'm not saying you got to be the same, but when a person isn't compromising to come to your side, and it's always you coming there and they never come with you, you're by yourself. And then even if it gets worse, you don't support them and there's some type of friction or arguments, that could be something that you might, again, have a conversation, express, which I will post that video too, effective communication. Express how you're feeling. Don't accuse. Like you're doing this on purpose. Just say, hey, I feel like this is one side, boom, boom, boom. And hopefully if it's somebody you're in love with or you want to build with, they'll see where you're coming from, start to change their ways a little bit, and y'all can compromise. Or if it's somebody says, hey, this is what it is, blah, 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 or hey, I don't care, then there's a decision to be made. You see, these advice, people give out advice, but they don't, they just make it seem like it's very cut and dry, black and white. There's layers to this to really figure out if you should build or if you should grow. The last one I did was, That's funny. That's, that's funny. This happened live show. So I had somebody from my fantasy league. I just got a notification like, I enjoyed your podcast on porn. I'm like, wait, what? Did I do a podcast on porn? I did do a podcast on porn, but it wasn't on porn, right? Oh, it was like, does porn ruin relationships? That's right. So I got to respond to that. Appreciate it. That was just a random text on everything. So that's funny to get that. Be clear. Do they? Okay, so this is for people that are starting a relationship or getting to know someone, right? Like, I think those first two were people that were kind of already in one, trying to figure it out. But if you're starting, like, if they don't have any visions or goals from the beginning, or a plan, it's hard to build anything without the plan. Like, it's what. If there be his life partners and parents, if that's how they right. So I wrote down, like, it's hard to be with someone that doesn't, can foresee a future or a plan, because if you plan to be with this person for, ever, in a sense, then those attributes are going to be when they become parents, when they become responsible for bills and stuff, like that same energy that they have when you meet them. That, no organization, no type of dreams, aspirations. It's just going to flood into other places where you do not want it to be. You don't want a non-goal driven parent or non-goal driven partner or any aspirations or anything that's just okay doing the bare minimum. That may work for another person. I should take that back. I don't say you don't want. Someone wants that, but know if that's what you want. If that's not what you want, then that's something you should find out. How about that? How can you expect them to pick you up and encourage you if they can't do it for themselves, right? So these are just more points on looking at this person's personality traits and understanding if this is something to build or leave. And there's no right or wrong. It's your option. It's your choice at the end of the day, right? Be selfish in your decisions. In the end, it's you who have to potentially build and grow with this person. You can take people who you hold in high standards and high regards. You can take their opinions, like people who have your best interest, but at the end of the day, it's your decision. So don't feel pressured to be with somebody. Don't feel like, it's the right thing to do. I know this is a controversial one, but you have kids with someone and then all of a sudden, people get into shotgun weddings or just for the image, you don't let any of that deal with or push you into making your decision. It has to be yours at the end of the day. And if people don't agree with it, people ain't gonna agree with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about pleasing people. Like, I understand you want to have, you want to be like we all do, right? But if you make a decision that is solely for you and you've internalized it and you've understand that, hey, this is what I want to do, this is what's going to make me happy, this is what's going to, then however people react to it, good or bad, you live with that because you made that decision for yourself. So go with your gut feeling at the end of the day. Sometimes that over trumps opinions and logic. It's just like, this don't feel right, this doesn't feel right, or this is the right thing. But really understand what you're doing before you get into a relationship, because there's more to it than just being physically attracted to each other and having sex all day. Like, there's so many layers that you will learn if you're lucky enough to find someone that you can grow old with. You will see what it really takes to maintain a healthy, fun relationship. And finally, I would just say, be clear with what you're trying to build. And that's what I was literally just getting at. People get in relationships because of physical attraction, build a whole family, and then find out they disagree on major things like parenting style, type of schools, religious upbringing, political viewpoints, etc. So this is the old school tactic, right? Get to know someone before y'all just go straight to having sex and go straight to wifing each other up and hubby and using all those titles way early. Get to know them. See what type of parenting style, where they come from, where they want to do, religious, political. These are things this is standard operation, but definitely get to know that, hit my mic, before making a full-blown commitment, because that could come back to bite you in the ass years down the road. You know what I'm saying? You with this person 5-6 years, everything's great. A kid coming, next thing you know, they like doing one extreme thing that you feel extremely against. And now you're finding that out 6 years later with a kid. It's the worst time to find things out like that. So be very clear what you're trying to build, where you're trying to go. Where do you see a happy couple? What does that look like to each other? Because you'll find out, like, even though people mean no harm, like some people might think, oh, this is what happy looks like to me. And you might think this is what happy looks like to me. So if you see a common thing between all these tips and all these ideas is effective communication, having conversation. At the end of the day, it all boils down to that. Like, everything's subjective. Everything could be remedied, fixed, changed, whatever. But having that conversation, listening, and really understanding what each person is saying, so there's no confusion on the back end, I think will help tremendously, especially when it comes to these relationships, friendships, and intimate relationships. All right, that was fun. Again, I'm working out how I'm trying to get this show going. So I was reading a lot off of the notes I took and then my intro. It's all new. So like I say, by my 5th, 6th episode, I'll probably be back to throwing it out there. But thank you for listening to another episode of Who Got the Aux. WhoGotTheAux.com for full podcast episodes. Who Got the Aux, one word. TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and WhoGotTheAux_ Twitter. I've been tweeting. I said that was my goal this year. I've been tweeting. My followers are up on Facebook, subscribers up, everything's up. I appreciate everybody. I had somebody call me out because I didn't put captions in the video because she was deaf apparently in the comments. And, I got to figure that out. You learn stuff. I didn't understand it. I was like, yeah, she wants the information and she can't hear it. That's on me. So I got to figure that out, but I appreciate the comment and the feedback. And I hope you subscribe. I didn't take it personal. You just wanted the information. So I respect that. I will see y'all at the next episode. I'm out. Peace.